The rain battered the streets of Brooklyn, a relentless drumbeat against the pavement. But inside the Rusty Spoon Cafe, Elena Harper felt a different kind of storm brewing. She sat across from Sophia Reyes, her heart pounding louder than the downpour outside, knowing this moment could unravel everything. One wrong word, one misstep, and the fragile deal between them, born of desperation and debts, might collapse, taking her dreams with it. Elena, 28, ran a small bookstore on the edge of Williamsburg, a haven of worn paperbacks and dog-eared poetry collections. Her sharp hazel eyes scanned Sophia, who sat nervously twisting a napkin, her dark hair spilling over her shoulders like a cascade of midnight. Sophia, 25, was a painter, her hands stained with faint traces of acrylic, her life a canvas of reckless choices and unpaid bills. Their worlds had collided 3 months ago when Sophia, drowning in debt to a loan shark, had begged Elena for help. Elena, against her better judgment, had paid off the $10,000 debt, but not without a price. "I need you to be my girlfriend," Elena had said that rainy night in her bookstore, her voice steady despite the chaos in her chest. "Not for real, just for show. My family's coming to town, and they're complicated. I need them to believe I'm settled, that I've got my life together." Sophia, cornered and desperate, had agreed. It was a transaction. Elena covered Sophia's debt, and Sophia played the role of the perfect partner for a week. No strings, no feelings, just a deal. But now, as Elena watched Sophia's trembling hands, she felt the weight of something deeper. The deal was supposed to end tonight, yet every fiber of her being screamed to keep Sophia close. She hadn't planned to fall for the woman who was only here to pay a debt. "You're nervous," Elena said, breaking the silence. Her voice was low, almost swallowed by the hum of the cafe. Sophia's brown eyes flicked up, guarded. "It's the last day. I'm just ready to move on." Elena's stomach twisted. Move on. The word stung, sharp and final. She leaned forward, her leather jacket creaking. "You sure about that? You don't owe me anything anymore, Sophia. You're free." Sophia's lips parted, but no words came. Her gaze dropped to the table, where the chalkboard sign sat between them, its message a quiet taunt. Some debts are paid with the heart, but love demands more. 3 months earlier, Elena's life had been a careful balance of independence and secrecy. She'd built Harper's Haven, her bookstore, from nothing, pouring her savings and soul into its creaky shelves and mismatched armchairs. But her family, old-money New Englanders with rigid expectations, saw it as a phase, a rebellion against their plans for her to join the family law firm. They didn't know she was a lesbian, and Elena had no intention of telling them. Not yet. Not when their judgment could crush her fragile empire. When her mother announced a visit to check on her progress, Elena panicked. A fake girlfriend was her only shield against their scrutiny. Enter Sophia, who'd stumbled into the bookstore one night, drenched and desperate, pleading for a way out of her debt to a man named Victor Crane, a loan shark with a reputation for breaking more than promises. Elena hadn't meant to get involved. She'd learned to keep her heart locked tight after a string of failed relationships, each one leaving her more guarded. But Sophia's raw vulnerability, her wide, pleading eyes and trembling voice, had cracked something open. Elena paid Victor off not out of charity, but because she saw a chance to solve her own problem. The deal was simple. Sophia would pose as her girlfriend for the family visit. They'd attend dinners, smile for photos, and sell the lie. Sophia would live in Elena's loft above the bookstore, sharing meals and space to make it convincing. In return, Sophia's debt was erased. But what started as a transaction had spiraled into something Elena couldn't control. Sophia was magnetic, messy, impulsive, and fiercely alive. She'd leave paint smudges on the kitchen counter, hum off-key while cooking, and talk about art like it was oxygen. Elena, who'd spent years building walls, found herself laughing at Sophia's bad puns, staying up late to debate poetry, and craving the warmth of her presence. Now, in the cafe, the deadline loomed. Sophia's debt was paid, her role fulfilled. Elena's family had left 2 days ago, convinced by their charade. But Elena wasn't ready to let go. "You don't have to leave," Elena said. her voice softer now, almost pleading. You could stay. With me. Sophia's eyes widened, a flicker of something, fear, longing, crossing her face. Elena, this was just a deal. You know that. Was it? Elena challenged, leaning closer. Because the way you looked at me last night, when we were dancing at that stupid gala, that wasn't fake. Sophia's cheeks flushed, and she looked away, her fingers tightening around the napkin. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Elena's heart sank, but she pressed on. Tell me you didn't feel it. Tell me it was all an act. The silence that followed was deafening. Sophia's jaw tightened, and when she finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. I can't do this, Elena. I can't stay. The cafe felt smaller now, the air thick with unspoken truths. Elena wanted to reach across the table, to hold Sophia's hand and beg her to explain. But pride kept her rooted, her fingers curling into fists. She'd been a fool to think this could be more than a transaction. Sophia stood, her chair scraping against the floor. I'm sorry, she said, her voice breaking. I need to go. Elena watched her walk away, the rain swallowing her silhouette as she disappeared into the night. The chalkboard's words mocked her. Some debts are paid with the heart, but love demands more. She'd paid Sophia's debt, but her own heart was now in arrears, and she had no idea how to settle the score. As the cafe's warmth faded, Elena knew one thing. She wasn't giving up. Not yet. Sophia might want to leave, but Elena would fight for the truth behind those fleeting glances, those stolen moments. She'd find out why Sophia was running, and whether love could be enough to make her stay. Sophia's absence left a void in Elena's loft that echoed louder than the city outside. The space, once alive with Sophia's laughter and the scent of her jasmine perfume, now felt sterile, the silence pressing against Elena's chest. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the easel Sophia had left behind, a half-finished painting of a Brooklyn rooftop glowing under starlight. It had been 2 days since Sophia walked out of the cafe, and Elena hadn't heard a word. No texts, no calls, nothing. She'd replayed their last conversation 100 times, dissecting every word, every glance. Sophia's hesitation, the way her voice cracked when she said she couldn't stay, it wasn't just fear. There was something deeper, something Sophia wasn't saying. Elena stood, pacing the loft's hardwood floor. She wasn't one to chase, but Sophia had slipped under her skin, unraveling years of carefully built defenses. The deal might be over, but Elena wasn't ready to let go. She needed answers. Grabbing her phone, she scrolled to Sophia's number, her thumb hovering over the call button. Doubt gnawed at her. What if Sophia meant it? What if it really was just a deal to her? But then she remembered the gala, Sophia's hand in hers as they swayed under chandeliers. The way Sophia's laugh had felt like a secret shared just with her. No, it wasn't all fake. Couldn't be. She hit call. It rang once, twice, then went to voicemail. Elena's jaw tightened, but she didn't leave a message. Instead, she grabbed her jacket and headed out into the chilly Brooklyn night, determined to find Sophia. Sophia lived in a cramped studio in Bushwick, a fifth-floor walk-up with peeling paint and a flickering hallway light. Elena had only been there once, when she dropped Sophia off after a late-night rehearsal for their fake relationship. The memory of Sophia's shy smile as she'd waved goodbye lingered as Elena climbed the stairs, her boots echoing in the empty stairwell. She knocked, her heart pounding. No answer. She knocked again, louder, then pressed her ear to the door. Silence. Frustration surged, but so did a flicker of worry. Sophia wasn't the type to vanish without reason. Something was wrong. Elena pulled out her phone again, this time texting, Sophia, I'm at your place. Where are you? We need to talk. She waited, staring at the screen, but no reply came. As she turned to leave, the door across the hall creaked open. An older woman, Mrs. Delgado, peeked out, her gray hair pulled into a tight bun. You looking for Sophia? She asked, her voice thick with a Puerto Rican accent. Yeah, Elena said, turning. Have you seen her? Mrs. Delgado frowned, stepping into the hall. She left yesterday, Mija. packed a bag, looked real upset, didn't say where she was going, but I heard her on the phone, talking fast. Sounded scared. Elena's stomach dropped. Scared? Of what? The woman shrugged, her eyes softening. Don't know, but she's been jumpy lately, always looking over her shoulder. You her girlfriend? Elena hesitated, the word catching in her throat. Something like that, she said finally. Did she say anything else? Mrs. Delgado shook her head. Just told me to water her plants if she's gone too long. Said she'd be back. But I don't know, Mija. Something's off. Elena thanked her and headed downstairs, her mind racing. Sophia. Scared? Jumped up loan sharks didn't just forget their clients, even after debts were paid. Victor Crane's name flashed in her mind, a shadow she'd thought was gone. Had he come back for Sophia? Or was it something else? Something personal? Something Sophia hadn't trusted her enough to share? Elena's next stop was the Painted Sparrow, a small art gallery in Dumbo where Sophia occasionally showed her work. The gallery was a sleek, white-walled space, its windows glowing with the soft light of hanging lanterns. Inside, a handful of patrons sipped wine and admired vibrant canvases, but Elena's focus was singular. Find Sophia. The gallery owner, a wiry man named Julian with a penchant for bow ties, recognized Elena immediately. You're Sophia's friend, right? He said, adjusting his glasses. Something like that, Elena said again, her patience thinning. Is she here? Julian shook his head. Haven't seen her since she dropped off her last piece. She was supposed to meet a buyer yesterday, but she never showed. Not like her. She's usually so reliable. Elena's unease grew. Did she say anything about where she was going? Nothing specific, Julian said, frowning. But she seemed distracted, kept checking her phone, like she was waiting for bad news. You know how she gets when she's stressed. Paints like a storm's coming. Elena glanced at the wall, where one of Sophia's paintings hung. A chaotic swirl of blues and reds, a figure caught in a whirlwind. It was raw, almost frantic, nothing like the dreamy landscape Sophia usually created. Any idea who she was talking to? Elena pressed. Julian hesitated, then lowered his voice. I overheard her mention a name, Victor. Sounded like trouble. Elena's blood ran cold. Victor Crane. She'd paid him off, wired the money herself. He'd promised to leave Sophia alone. But men like Victor didn't play by promises. Back in her loft, Elena sat at her desk, the glow of her laptop casting shadows across the room. She searched for Victor Crane online, but found only whispers. Shady forums mentioning a loan shark operating out of Red Hook, known for his ruthless collections. No address, no clear leads. She slammed the laptop shut, frustration boiling over. Her eyes fell on Sophia's easel again, the unfinished painting a silent plea. Elena walked over, tracing the brushstrokes with her fingers. Sophia had painted this while living here, during late nights when they talked until dawn. Elena could still hear her voice, soft and unguarded, confessing her dreams of showing her art in Manhattan, of leaving her past behind. Elena's chest ached. She'd fallen for Sophia in those quiet moments, in the way Sophia's eyes lit up when she talked about color, in the way her touch lingered just a second too long. But Sophia was running now, and Elena didn't know why. She grabbed her phone again, this time texting, Sophia, I know you're scared. Tell me where you are. I can help. She waited, but the screen stayed dark. As the night deepened, Elena made a decision. She'd find Sophia no matter what it took. If Victor was involved, she'd face him. If it was something else, some secret Sophia was hiding, she'd uncover it. Because losing Sophia wasn't just losing a deal. It was losing the one person who'd made her feel alive. Elena's boots crunched against the gravel of Red Hook's waterfront, the air thick with salt and the distant hum of cranes. It was a risky move, coming here alone, but Victor Crane's shadow loomed too large to ignore. If Sophia was in trouble, this was where the answers lay. The warehouse district was a maze of rusted shipping containers and flickering streetlights, the kind of place where deals went sour and secrets stayed buried. Elena had tracked down a lead from a bartender at a dive bar near the gallery. A vague tip about Victor operating out of an old import-export front called Bayview Trading. Her heart raced as she approached the nondescript building, its windows boarded up, a faint glow seeping through the cracks. She didn't have a plan, just a burning need to find Sophia. Adjusting her leather jacket, she knocked on the steel door, the sound echoing like a warning. A man answered, broad-shouldered with a scar cutting through his eyebrow. "What do you want?" he growled, sizing her up. "I'm looking for Victor Crane," Elena said, her voice steady despite the adrenaline. "It's about Sophia Reyes." The man's eyes narrowed, but he stepped aside, gesturing her in. Inside, the warehouse was a clutter of crates and cigarette smoke, with a few men lounging at a table, cards scattered between them. Victor sat at the far end, his slicked-back hair and tailored suit a stark contrast to the grime around him. "Elena Harper," Victor said, his voice smooth as oil. "The bookstore girl. Paid off Sophia's debt. Didn't you? So why are you here?" "Where's Sophia?" Elena demanded, ignoring the chair he offered. Victor leaned back, a smirk playing on his lips. "Sophia's debt is settled. She's got no business with me." "Then why'd she run?" Elena pressed, her fists clenching. "I know she's scared, and your name came up." Victor's smirk faded, replaced by a cold glint. "Careful, Harper. You're out of your depth. Sophia's got her own problems, ones you don't know about. Maybe ask her why she's so good at running." Elena's stomach twisted. "What's that supposed to mean?" Victor stood, circling her like a predator. "Sophia's not the innocent artist you think she is. She's got a past and it's catching up. I'd let her go if I were you." Elena held his gaze, refusing to back down. "Tell me where she is, or I'll make sure the cops know exactly what Bayview Trading is hiding." Victor laughed, a low, dangerous sound. "You've got guts, I'll give you that. But Sophia? She's long gone. Try the bus station. Last I heard, she was buying a ticket out of town." Elena didn't trust Victor, but his words sent her racing to the Port Authority bus terminal, Manhattan's chaotic hub of departures. The terminal was a blur of tired travelers and flickering neon signs, the air heavy with diesel and desperation. Elena scanned the crowd, her heart sinking with every unfamiliar face. She checked the ticket counters, flashing Sophia's photo. A candid shot from the gala, Sophia's smile bright against the dark velvet of her dress. No one had seen her. Elena's hope was fading when she spotted a familiar figure near the Greyhound ticket booth. Sophia, her hair tucked under a baseball cap, a duffel bag slung over her shoulder. "Sophia," Elena called, pushing through the crowd. Sophia froze, her eyes wide with panic. For a moment, Elena thought she'd bolt. But Sophia stayed rooted, her shoulders slumping as Elena reached her. "Why are you running?" Elena asked, breathless. "What's going on?" Sophia's gaze darted around, as if expecting someone to appear. "You shouldn't be here, Elena. You need to go." "Not until you tell me what's happening," Elena said, stepping closer. "I went to Victor. He said you've got a past." "What does that mean?" Sophia's face paled, her hands trembling as she gripped her bag. "Victor's lying. I'm done with him." "Then why are you leaving?" Elena's voice softened, pleading. "Sophia, I know what we had started as a deal, but it's more than that now. I feel it. And I know you do too." Sophia's eyes glistened, but she shook her head. "You don't understand, Elena. I'm not good for you. I've done things I'm not proud of. Things that could hurt you." Elena reached for her hand, but Sophia pulled back. "Tell me," Elena said. "Whatever it is, I can handle it." Sophia's voice broke. "I can't. I'm sorry." She turned, heading for the boarding gate, but Elena grabbed her wrist, gentle but firm. "I'm not letting you go without a fight," Elena said, her voice raw. "Not this time." Sophia's resolve wavered, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Elena, please, if you care about me, let me go." But Elena didn't let go. She couldn't. Not when every moment with Sophia had felt like waking up after years of sleepwalking. They stood there, locked in a silent standoff, the terminal's chaos fading into the background. Finally, Sophia spoke, her voice barely audible. "There's someone after me. Not Victor. Someone worse." Elena's blood ran cold. "Who?" Sophia hesitated, then whispered, "My ex Riley." The name hit Elena like a punch. Sophia had never mentioned an ex, not once in their late-night talks. "What did she do to you?" Elena asked, her voice tight. Sophia looked away, her jaw trembling. "She's why I ended up with Victor in the first place. Riley's dangerous. I thought I'd escaped her, but she found me. She always finds me." Elena's mind raced. A dangerous ex, a past Sophia had kept hidden. It was a lot to process, but it only made her more determined. "You don't have to face her alone," she said. "Let me help you." Sophia shook her head, pulling her wrist free. "You don't know what she's capable of, Elena. I won't drag you into this." But Elena wasn't backing down. "You're not dragging me. I'm choosing this. I'm choosing you." For a moment, Sophia's walls seemed to crack, her eyes searching Elena's face for something. Hope, maybe, or trust. But then she stepped back, her expression hardening. "I'm sorry," she said again. And before Elena could stop her, she disappeared into the crowd. Elena stood frozen, the weight of Sophia's words sinking in. Riley. A name, a threat, a piece of Sophia's past she hadn't shared. But Elena wasn't giving up. She'd find Sophia again. And this time, she'd uncover the truth. Elena sat in her bookstore, the scent of old paper and coffee doing little to calm her racing thoughts. Sophia's revelation at the bus terminal had left her reeling. Riley, an ex who was dangerous. A shadow from Sophia's past that explained her fear, her urge to run. Elena needed answers, but Sophia was gone. Her phone off, her studio empty. The bookstore's bell jingled, snapping Elena out of her spiral. Julian, the gallery owner, stood in the doorway, his bow tie askew, a worried crease in his brow. "I heard you were looking for Sophia," he said, glancing around the quiet shop. "Any luck?" Elena shook her head, leaning against the counter. "She's running from someone, an ex named Riley. You know anything about her?" Julian's face tightened, and he lowered his voice. "I've heard the name. Sophia never talked much about her. But a couple of years ago, she showed up to the gallery with a black eye. Said it was an accident, but I didn't buy it. Riley was controlling, from what I gathered. Sophia got out, but it wasn't easy." Elena's fists clenched, anger flaring at the thought of someone hurting Sophia. "Do you know where Riley is now?" Julian hesitated. "Last I heard, she was in Philly, but that was a while ago. Sophia's been on edge lately, though. Kept saying she felt watched." Elena's mind raced. If Riley was back, Sophia wasn't just running from a bad breakup. She was running for her life. "Thanks, Julian," she said, grabbing her keys. "If you hear from her, tell her I'm not giving up." Elena spent the next day digging, calling every contact Sophia had ever mentioned, scouring social media for traces of Riley. She found nothing concrete, just fragments. A blurry photo of a woman with short blonde hair at a bar, tagged in Sophia's old posts. A vague comment about trouble in Philly. It wasn't enough, but it was a start. By evening, exhaustion set in, but Elena couldn't stop. She sat in her loft, Sophia's painting staring back at her, its chaotic swirls a mirror of her own turmoil. She was about to call it a night when her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Meet me at Prospect Park, by the boathouse. Midnight. Come alone." Elena's pulse spiked. It had to be Sophia. Or was it a trap? She hesitated, then grabbed her jacket. If there was even a chance to find Sophia, she'd take it. The park was eerily quiet at midnight, the moon casting long shadows across the lake. Elena approached the boathouse, her breath visible in the cold air. A figure stood in the darkness, hooded and still. "Sophia," Elena called, her voice low. The figure turned, and Elena's heart sank. It wasn't Sophia. The woman was taller, her blonde hair cropped short, her eyes cold and calculating. "Riley." "You must be Elena," Riley said. her voice smooth but laced with menace. Sophia's new hero. Where is she? Elena demanded, her hands balling into fists. Riley smirked, stepping closer. Safe, for now. But you're in over your head, bookstore girl. Sophia's mine. Always will be. Elena's blood boiled, but she kept her voice steady. She's not yours. She's running from you. Riley's smile faded, replaced by a dangerous glint. You don't know her like I do. She's got secrets, Elena. Things she'll never tell you. Walk away, or you'll regret it. Elena stood her ground, her heart pounding. I'm not walking away. Tell me where she is. Riley laughed. A sharp, bitter sound. You're brave. Stupid, but brave. Check the old theater on Flatbush. She's hiding there. But don't say I didn't warn you. Before Elena could respond, Riley slipped into the shadows, leaving her alone by the boathouse. Elena's mind raced. Riley's words, her confidence, the threat in her eyes. But the lead was all she had. The old theater on Flatbush was a crumbling relic, its marquee dark, its windows boarded. Elena parked a block away, her nerves on edge as she approached. The side door was ajar, a faint light spilling out. She slipped inside, her footsteps echoing in the dusty auditorium. Sophia? She whispered, her voice swallowed by the vast space. A soft noise came from the stage, and Elena's heart leapt. She climbed the steps, her eyes adjusting to the dim glow of a single bulb. There, curled up on a pile of old costumes, was Sophia, her face pale, her eyes red from crying. Elena! Sophia's voice was hoarse, disbelieving. How did you find me? Elena knelt beside her, relief flooding her. Doesn't matter. I'm here now. Sophia shook her head, tears spilling over. You shouldn't be. Riley, she's dangerous. She'll hurt you to get to me. I met her, Elena said, her voice firm. She told me where you were. I don't know why, but I'm not letting her scare me off. Sophia's eyes widened. She told you? Elena, that's not good. She's playing a game. She always does. Then we'll play better, Elena said, taking Sophia's hand. You don't have to run anymore. We'll figure this out together. Sophia's hand trembled in hers, but she didn't pull away. For the first time, Elena saw a flicker of hope in her eyes, fragile but real. As they sat in the quiet theater, Sophia began to talk. She told Elena about Riley, how they'd met 3 years ago, how Riley's charm had turned to control, then to violence. Sophia had borrowed money from Victor to escape, but Riley never stopped looking for her. She's obsessed, Sophia whispered. She thinks she owns me. Elena listened, her heart breaking for the woman she'd fallen for. But anger burned too, for Riley, for Victor, for every force that had pushed Sophia to the edge. You're not alone anymore, Elena said, squeezing her hand. We'll face her, together. Sophia's eyes searched hers, and for a moment, the world felt still. Then she leaned forward, her lips brushing Elena's in a tentative, desperate kiss. It was brief, but it set Elena's heart on fire. I don't deserve you, Sophia murmured. You don't get to decide that, Elena said, her voice fierce. I'm in this, Sophia, all the way. But as they held each other in the dark, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that Riley's game was far from over. The old theater's air was thick with dust and tension as Elena and Sophia sat on the stage, their hands still clasped. Sophia's kiss lingered on Elena's lips, a fragile promise in the midst of chaos. But Riley's shadow loomed, and Elena knew they couldn't stay hidden forever. We need a plan, Elena said, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her. Riley knows you're here. She wanted me to find you, which means she's watching. Sophia's shoulders tensed, her eyes darting to the theater's dark corners. She always knows where I am, she whispered. It's like she's in my head. Elena squeezed her hand. Not anymore. You're not alone now. Sophia's gaze softened, but doubt lingered. You don't know her, Elena. She's relentless. When I left her, she trashed my old apartment, sent me threats for months. I thought moving to New York would be enough, but she found me. Elena's jaw tightened. How? Did you tell anyone where you were going? Sophia hesitated, her fingers twisting in her lap. I told one person. My cousin, Maria. She's the only family I'm close to. But she'd never betray me. Elena frowned, a seed of suspicion taking root. We need to be sure. Can you call her? Sophia nodded, pulling out her phone with trembling hands. She dialed, but it went straight to voicemail. Maria, it's me, she said, her voice shaky. I need to know if you told anyone where I am. Call me back. As Sophia hung up, Elena stood, pacing the stage. We can't stay here. If Riley's watching, this place isn't safe. Where do we go? Sophia asked, her voice small. I've been running for so long, Elena. I'm tired. Elena knelt in front of her, cupping her face. Then stop running. Let me help you fight. We'll go to my place. It's secure, and I know people who can help. Sophia's eyes searched hers, and slowly, she nodded. Okay, but promise me you'll be careful. Riley doesn't play fair. I'm not afraid of her, Elena said, though her heart pounded at the lie. She was afraid not for herself but for Sophia. They slipped out of the theater, sticking to the shadows as they made their way to Elena's loft. The city was alive with late-night noise, sirens, laughter, the hum of traffic. But to Elena, it felt like a battlefield. Every glance over her shoulder was a reminder of Riley's threat. Back at the loft, Elena locked the door and checked the windows, her nerves on edge. Sophia sat on the couch, clutching her duffel bag like a lifeline. You didn't sign up for this, she said, her voice heavy with guilt. I should have told you about Riley from the start. Elena sat beside her, their knees brushing. You were scared. I get it. But no more secrets. Okay? If we're going to do this, I need to know everything. Sophia nodded, taking a shaky breath. Riley was my first love. I was 21, she was 26. She was intense, charismatic, made me feel like I was the center of the universe. But then she started controlling everything. What I wore, who I saw, what I painted. When I tried to leave, she got violent. I borrowed money from Victor to get away, to start over here. But she never stopped looking for me. Elena's heart ached, but anger burned hotter. She's not getting anywhere near you again, she said. I promise. Sophia's eyes glistened, and she leaned into Elena, resting her head on her shoulder. Why are you doing this? You don't owe me anything. Elena's throat tightened. Because I'm in love with you, Sophia. Deal or no deal, that's the truth. Sophia froze, her breath catching. For a moment, Elena thought she'd pull away, but instead, Sophia turned, her lips finding Elena's in a kiss that was deeper, more desperate than the one in the theater. It was a confession, a surrender, and Elena poured every ounce of her heart into it. When they pulled apart, Sophia's voice was a whisper. I'm falling for you too, but I'm so scared, Elena. Scared I'll ruin this. You won't, Elena said fiercely. We'll figure it out. The moment was shattered by a sharp knock at the door. Elena's heart leapt, and Sophia tensed, her eyes wide with fear. Stay here, Elena whispered, grabbing a baseball bat from the closet. She crept to the door, peering through the peephole. It was Mrs. Delgado, Sophia's neighbor, her face pale. Elena opened the door a crack. Mrs. Delgado? What's wrong? It's Sophia, the older woman said, breathless. Someone was at her place tonight, tearing it apart. I heard them talking. Said they were looking for her. I came as fast as I could. Elena's grip tightened on the bat. Did you see them? No, but they sounded angry. I called the cops, but they're not here yet. Sophia appeared behind Elena, her face ashen. It's Riley. It has to be. Elena turned to her, her voice firm. We're not running. We're going to end this. Mrs. Delgado nodded, handing Elena a slip of paper. I found this in Sophia's mailbox. It was open, like someone left it on purpose. Elena unfolded it, her blood running cold. The note was scrawled in sharp, angry handwriting. You can't hide forever, Sophia. I'm coming. Sophia's knees buckled, and Elena caught her, holding her close. "She's not touching you," Elena said, her voice fierce. "I swear it." But as they stood there, the note burning in Elena's hand, she knew Riley was closing in. The fight was coming whether they were ready or not. Elena stared at the note, its jagged words searing into her mind. "You can't hide forever, Sophia. I'm coming." The loft, once a sanctuary, now felt like a trap. Sophia clung to her breath shallow, her fear palpable. "We need to go to the police," Elena said, folding the note and shoving it into her pocket. "This is evidence. They can protect you." Sophia shook her head, her voice trembling. "Riley's too smart. She's done this before, threats, break-ins, and she always slips away. The cops won't stop her." "Then we'll stop her," Elena said, her jaw set. "But we need help. People we can trust." Sophia's eyes flickered with doubt, but she nodded. "Okay, but who?" Elena thought of Julian, the gallery owner, and Mrs. Delgado, who'd risked coming here to warn them. They weren't much, but they were a start. "We'll figure it out," she said, pulling Sophia close. "You're not alone anymore." The next morning, Elena and Sophia sat in the Rusty Spoon Cafe, the same place where Sophia had walked out days ago. Julian joined them, his usual flair subdued as he listened to Sophia's story. Mrs. Delgado was there too, her presence a quiet strength. "I know a guy," Julian said, sipping his coffee. "Ex-cop, does private security now. Name's Marcus. He helped a friend of mine with a stalker last year. If Riley's as dangerous as you say, he'll know what to do." Sophia hesitated, her fingers twisting her napkin. "I don't have money for that." "I'll cover it," Elena said without missing a beat. "Whatever it takes." Sophia's eyes met hers, a mix of gratitude and guilt. "Elena, you've already done too much." "No such thing," Elena said, her voice soft but firm. Mrs. Delgado reached across the table, patting Sophia's hand. "Mija, let her help. You don't have to carry this alone." Sophia's lips trembled, but she nodded. "Okay, let's talk to Marcus." Marcus was a broad-shouldered man in his 40s, with a calm demeanor that put Elena at ease. They met him at his office in downtown Brooklyn, a small space cluttered with files and coffee mugs. He listened as Sophia recounted Riley's history, her violence, her obsession, the threats that followed Sophia across states. "She's escalating," Marcus said, leaning back in his chair. "The note, the break-in, it's a power play. She wants you scared, Sophia. But we can use that. If she's watching, we can set a trap." Elena's pulse quickened. "A trap? Like what?" Marcus scribbled a few notes. "We draw her out. Make her think Sophia's vulnerable somewhere public. I'll have my team nearby, ready to step in. We catch her in the act, get her on something solid. Harassment, stalking, anything the cops can't ignore." Sophia's face paled. "You want me to be bait?" "Not alone," Marcus said. "We'll keep you safe. But we need her to make a move." Elena reached for Sophia's hand under the table, squeezing it. "I'll be there too. Every step." Sophia took a shaky breath, then nodded. "Okay, let's do it." They chose the Brooklyn Flea Market as the location, a bustling, open space where Riley could approach but couldn't hide. The plan was simple. Sophia would wander the stalls, visible but not isolated, while Marcus's team watched from a distance. Elena would stay close, posing as a friend, not a lover, to avoid tipping Riley off. As they walked through the market, the air thick with the scent of grilled food and vintage leather, Elena's nerves were on edge. Sophia browsed a stall of old records, her hands steady but her eyes scanning the crowd. Elena stayed a few steps behind, her heart pounding every time someone lingered too long. "You okay?" Elena whispered, brushing past Sophia. Sophia nodded, but her smile was tight. "Just want this to be over." Elena wanted to pull her close, to promise everything would be fine, but she kept her distance, sticking to the plan. The market was crowded, a sea of faces, and every blonde head made Elena's stomach lurch. Then she saw her, Riley, weaving through the crowd, her eyes locked on Sophia. She wore a dark jacket, her movements deliberate, like a hunter stalking prey. Elena signaled Marcus, who was disguised as a vendor nearby, and he gave a subtle nod. Riley was closing in, her hand slipping into her pocket. Elena's heart stopped. Did she have a weapon? Before she could react, Sophia turned, her eyes meeting Riley's. For a moment, time froze, the market's noise fading to a dull roar. "Sophia," Riley said, her voice low and possessive. "You thought you could run?" Sophia stood her ground, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. "I'm not yours, Riley. I never was." Riley's face twisted, and she took a step forward. But Marcus's team moved in, two men in plain clothes grabbing her arms. "Let's take a walk," Marcus said, his tone calm but firm. Riley struggled, her eyes blazing. "This isn't over, Sophia," she shouted as they led her away. Sophia's knees buckled, and Elena caught her, holding her tight. "It's okay," Elena whispered. "It's over." But as they stood there, the crowd parting around them, Elena knew it wasn't over. Not yet. Riley's words echoed in her mind, and the look in her eyes promised trouble. The police station was a blur of fluorescent lights and paperwork, but Elena barely noticed. She sat beside Sophia in a cramped waiting room, their hands intertwined, Sophia's trembling fingers a reminder of how close they'd come to disaster. Riley was in custody, caught with a knife in her pocket and a record of prior offenses that made the cops take her seriously. But Sophia's eyes were distant, haunted by Riley's final words. "This isn't over." Marcus joined them, his expression grim but satisfied. "She's being charged with stalking and possession of a weapon," he said. "With the note and the break-in, we've got a solid case. But she's got connections, so don't let your guard down." Sophia nodded, her voice barely audible. "Thank you, Marcus." Elena squeezed her hand, her heart heavy. "You're safe now," she said, though the words felt hollow. Riley's threat lingered, a shadow they couldn't shake. Back at the loft, Sophia sat on the couch, staring at her hands. The silence was heavy, broken only by the hum of the city outside. Elena knelt in front of her, brushing a strand of hair from Sophia's face. "Talk to me," she said softly. "What's going on in your head?" Sophia's eyes glistened, and she took a shaky breath. "I thought I could leave it all behind. Riley, the debt, the fear. But it keeps following me. And now you're caught up in it." "I chose this," Elena said, her voice firm. "I chose you." Sophia's lips trembled, and she leaned forward, resting her forehead against Elena's. "I don't know how to do this," she whispered. "I've never had someone fight for me like you do." Elena's heart swelled, and she cupped Sophia's face, kissing her gently. "Then let me show you how it's done." The kiss deepened, a mix of relief and longing, and for a moment, the world felt right. But as they pulled apart, Sophia's phone buzzed, shattering the moment. She glanced at the screen, her face paling. "It's Maria," she said, her voice tight. She answered, putting it on speaker. "Maria, where have you been?" "Sophia, I'm so sorry." Maria's voice crackled, frantic. "I didn't know. She made me tell her where you were. Riley. She threatened my kids." Sophia's breath hitched, and Elena's stomach dropped. "When?" Sophia asked. "When did she contact you?" "A week ago," Maria said, her voice breaking. "I didn't want to, Sophia. I swear." "It's okay," Sophia said, though her voice shook. "Just stay safe. We've got her now." She hung up, her hands trembling. Elena pulled her close, anger burning in her chest. Riley had manipulated Maria, used her to track Sophia. Even in custody, her reach felt endless. The next day, Elena and Sophia met with a lawyer Marcus recommended, a sharp woman named Lena who specialized in restraining orders. "Riley's got a history," Lena said, flipping through a file. "Assault, harassment, even a stint in jail. We can get a restraining order, but it's just paper unless she violates it." "What if she does?" Elena asked, her arm around Sophia. Lena's eyes softened. "Then we nail her. But you both need to be vigilant. Document everything. Texts, calls, Anything suspicious? Sophia nodded, but her expression was weary. I just want to live without looking over my shoulder. You will, Elena said, her voice fierce. We'll make sure of it. That evening, they walked through Prospect Park, the air crisp with autumn. Sophia's hand was warm in Elena's, and for the first time in days, she seemed lighter, a faint smile playing on her lips. You know, she said, I used to come here to sketch, before everything got so complicated. Elena grinned, nudging her. Show me sometime. I want to see your world. Sophia's smile grew, but it faltered as her phone buzzed again. She checked it, her face paling. It's a blocked number, she whispered, showing Elena the text. You think a cell can hold me? Watch your back. Elena's blood ran cold. Riley's in custody, she said, though doubt crept in. It could be a bluff. Sophia's eyes filled with fear. Or it's not. Elena pulled her close, scanning the park. The trees seemed to close in, every shadow a threat. We're going to the police, she said. Now. As they hurried back to the loft, Elena's mind raced. Riley was locked up, but her words felt too real, too close. Was someone else helping her? Or had she found a way to slip through the cracks? Either way, Elena knew one thing. She'd protect Sophia, no matter the cost. The police station offered little comfort. Its sterile walls and tired officers a stark contrast to the fear churning in Elena's gut. The text from the blocked number, "You think a cell can hold me? Watch your back," had shaken Sophia to her core, and Elena wasn't faring much better. The officer assigned to their case, Detective Vargas, confirmed Riley was still in custody, but his furrowed brow didn't inspire confidence. Could be a friend of hers, someone she paid to send it, Vargas said, scribbling notes. We'll trace the number, but it'll take time. Stay alert, and don't go anywhere alone. Sophia nodded, her face pale, her hand gripping Elena's under the table. What if it's her? She whispered. What if she's out? She's not, Vargas said, though his tone wavered. We've got her on a 72-hour hold. But we'll check the logs, make sure. Elena's jaw tightened. You'd better, because if she's out there, Sophia's not safe. Vargas met her gaze, nodding. We're on it, I promise. Back at the loft, Elena double-checked the locks, her nerves frayed. Sophia sat on the couch, sketching absently on a napkin, her hands shaking. The drawing was a jagged mess of lines, nothing like her usual fluid strokes. Elena sat beside her, taking the pencil gently from her hand. Hey, she said softly, we're going to get through this. Sophia's eyes glistened. I'm so tired of being afraid, Elena. I thought I could start over, be someone new. But she's always there, pulling me back. Elena pulled her into her arms, holding her tight. She's not winning this time. I won't let her. Sophia buried her face in Elena's shoulder, her voice muffled. I don't know what I'd do without you. Elena's heart ached, a mix of love and determination. You don't have to find out. The next morning, Detective Vargas called with an update. The text came from a burner phone, untraceable so far, he said. Riley's still in custody, but we found something odd. She's been making calls to a number in Philly. We're looking into it. Elena's mind raced. Philly, where Riley was last known to be before she tracked Sophia to New York. Any idea who she's calling? Not yet, Vargas said. But we're digging. Stay vigilant. Elena hung up, turning to Sophia, who was sipping coffee at the kitchen counter. They're checking a lead in Philly, she said. Riley's been calling someone there. Sophia's cup froze halfway to her lips. Philly? That's where I met her. She had friends. People who helped her scare me. Elena's stomach twisted. Like who? Sophia hesitated, her voice low. There was this guy, Derek. He was her muscle, did her dirty work. If she's calling someone, it's probably him. Elena grabbed her phone, texting Marcus the new information. If Riley had an accomplice, they needed to know who they were dealing with. Marcus replied quickly, On it. I'll check my contacts in Philly. Stay put. But staying put felt like waiting for a storm to hit. Elena paced the loft, her mind spinning. Sophia watched her, guilt etched into her features. "This is my fault," she said. "I brought this into your life." Elena stopped, kneeling in front of her. "Don't do that. None of this is your fault. Riley's the one who's twisted, not you." Sophia's eyes filled with tears, and she leaned forward, kissing Elena softly. "I love you," she whispered, the words raw and real. Elena's breath caught, her heart soaring despite the fear. "I love you too," she said, kissing her back. For a moment, the world was just them, their love a shield against the chaos. That night, Marcus called with news. "Got a hit on Derek," he said. "Derek Malone, small-time thug with a rap sheet. He's been spotted in Brooklyn near your bookstore. My guess? Riley's using him to keep tabs on Sophia." Elena's blood ran cold. "Is he dangerous?" "He's muscle, not brains," Marcus said. "But yeah, he's trouble. I'm sending a guy to watch your place. Don't go out until we know more." Elena hung up, turning to Sophia. "Derek's in Brooklyn. Riley's got him watching us." Sophia's face crumpled, and she buried her head in her hands. "This is never going to end, is it?" "It will," Elena said, pulling her close. "We're going to end it." As they held each other, Elena's mind raced. Riley was in custody, but her reach extended beyond bars. Derek was out there, a new threat in a game that was growing deadlier by the day. But Elena wasn't backing down. She'd protect Sophia no matter what it took. The loft felt like a fortress under siege, every creak of the building setting Elena's nerves on edge. Derek Malone, Riley's enforcer, was out there watching, waiting. Sophia sat at the kitchen table, sketching furiously, as if pouring her fear into the page could keep it at bay. Elena watched her, torn between love and the burning need to act. Marcus's security guy, a quiet man named Theo, stood watch outside, his presence a small comfort. But Elena knew they couldn't hide forever. Riley's influence was like a poison, seeping into every corner of their lives. "We need to take control," Elena said, sitting across from Sophia. "We can't just wait for Derek to make a move." Sophia's pencil paused, her eyes meeting Elena's. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying we find him first," Elena said, her voice steady. "We know he's in Brooklyn. Marcus has leads. If we can catch him, we can tie him to Riley. Make sure she stays locked up." Sophia's face paled. "Elena, he's dangerous. I saw what he did for Riley, breaking into places, intimidating people. He's not like her, but he's not afraid to hurt someone." "I'm not afraid either," Elena said, though her heart pounded. "Not when it comes to you." Sophia reached across the table, her hand finding Elena's. "I don't want you to get hurt. Not for me." Elena squeezed her hand, her voice fierce. "You're worth it, Sophia. You're worth everything." Marcus met them at a diner in Williamsburg, his face grim as he slid into the booth. "My guy in Philly came through," he said, keeping his voice low. "Derek's been staying at a motel off Atlantic Avenue. He's sloppy, using a fake name, but he paid with a card tied to one of Riley's old accounts. We've got eyes on him." Elena leaned forward. "Can we catch him? Get something to tie him to the threats?" Marcus nodded. "It's risky, but possible. My team can tail him, see if he's carrying anything incriminating, burner phones, weapons, anything linking him to Riley. But you two need to stay out of sight. If he spots Sophia, it could spook him." Sophia's jaw tightened. "I'm tired of hiding. If he's after me, I want to face him." Elena's heart sank, but she saw the fire in Sophia's eyes, a spark of the strength she'd hidden for so long. "Okay," Elena said, "but we do this together. No heroics." Marcus raised an eyebrow but nodded. "Fine. We'll set up a sting. I know a spot near the motel where we can draw him out. Sophia, you'll be the lure, but my team will be all over it. Elena, you stay close but out of his line of sight." The sting was set for the next evening, in an alley behind a dive bar near Derek's motel. Sophia would walk past, visible but not obvious, while Marcus's team waited in the shadows. Elena hated the plan, hated putting Sophia in danger, but she trusted Marcus and saw the determination in Sophia's eyes. As they waited in a parked car a block away, Elena took Sophia's hand, her voice low. "You don't have to do this." Sophia's smile was small but fierce. "Yes, I do. For me. For us." Elena leaned in, kissing her deeply, pouring every ounce of her love and fear into it. "I'm right here," she whispered. "Always." Sophia nodded, slipping out of the car. Elena watched her go, her heart in her throat. As Sophia walked toward the alley, her silhouette framed by the neon glow of the bar. Marcus's team was in place, their earpieces crackling with updates. Elena stayed in the car, her eyes locked on Sophia, every nerve screaming to run to her. Minutes passed, each one an eternity. Then, a figure emerged from the shadows. Derek, broad and menacing, his eyes fixed on Sophia. He moved fast, too fast, and Elena's breath caught as he grabbed Sophia's arm. Before Elena could react, Marcus's team swarmed, pinning Derek to the ground. Sophia stumbled back, unharmed but shaken, as Marcus cuffed Derek's hands. "Got him," Marcus said into his earpiece, his voice calm. "He's got a burner phone and a knife. Looks like our guy." Elena rushed to Sophia, pulling her into her arms. "You okay?" she asked, her voice trembling. Sophia nodded, clinging to her. "I'm okay. It's over." But as the police arrived, hauling Derek away, Elena's relief was tempered by a nagging fear. Derek was caught, but Riley was the puppet master. And until she was truly stopped, Sophia would never be free. The Brooklyn skyline glittered through the loft's windows, a quiet contrast to the storm that had defined Elena and Sophia's lives for weeks. Derek's arrest was a victory, but Riley's shadow lingered, her trial looming like a dark cloud. Elena and Sophia sat on the couch, a blanket draped over them, their hands intertwined as they faced an uncertain future. Detective Vargas had called earlier with news. Derek was talking, spilling details about Riley's plans to scare Sophia into submission. The burner phone he carried held texts linking him to Riley, enough to strengthen the case against her. But Riley was cunning, her lawyer already spinning a defense that painted her as a misunderstood ex, not a stalker. Sophia's sketchbook lay open on the coffee table, a new drawing taking shape, a soft, vibrant portrait of Elena, her hazel eyes rendered with aching tenderness. "You're getting good at this," Elena said, nudging her with a smile. Sophia's lips curved, but her eyes were heavy. "It's how I see you," she said. "Strong, fearless, everything I want to be." Elena's heart swelled, and she kissed Sophia's forehead. "You're stronger than you know. You faced Derek. You faced Riley. You're not running anymore." Sophia's smile faltered. "I want to believe that, but what if she gets out? What if this never ends?" "It will," Elena said, her voice fierce. "We've got evidence, witnesses, Marcus's team. She's not slipping through this time." The trial was set for a week later, a grueling process that tested Sophia's resolve. Elena sat beside her in the courtroom, her hand a steady anchor as Riley took the stand, her blonde hair neatly pulled back, her demeanor calm and calculated. She denied everything, the threats, the break-in, the texts, claiming Sophia had exaggerated their relationship to ruin her. But the evidence was damning. The note, Derek's testimony, the burner phone records, it all pointed to Riley's obsession. Sophia took the stand, her voice steady as she recounted years of fear, her words raw and unflinching. Elena's chest ached with pride and love, watching Sophia reclaim her power. When the verdict came, the courtroom held its breath. "Guilty," the judge declared, sentencing Riley to 3 years for stalking and harassment, with a restraining order to follow. Sophia's shoulders sagged, tears streaming down her face as Elena pulled her close. "It's over," Elena whispered, her own eyes burning. "You're free." Weeks later, the loft was alive again, filled with Sophia's laughter and the scent of fresh paint. She'd moved in permanently, her easel a fixture in the corner, her canvases brightening the walls. Elena's bookstore thrived, its shelves now dotted with Sophia's sketches, a testament to their shared life. One evening, as they sat on the fire escape, Watching the city glow, Sophia turned to Elena, her eyes soft. "I was so scared to love you," she said. "I thought I'd lose myself again. But you showed me I could be whole." Elena's throat tightened, and she took Sophia's hand, slipping a small ring onto her finger. A simple band, etched with a tiny star. "I don't have a speech," Elena said, her voice rough with emotion. "But I want you in my life, Sophia. Forever." Sophia's eyes widened, then filled with tears as she nodded, pulling Elena into a kiss that tasted of hope and promise. "Forever," she whispered. As they held each other, the city humming below, Elena knew they'd faced the worst and come out stronger. Their love, born from a debt, had become a choice, one that would carry them through whatever came next.